All right, everyone, welcome to the driver breakdown. Let's take a look at a bit of masterful accident avoidance with a parked car on the highway and see what tips we can pick up to drive a little more safely ourselves. There's a ton to break down here, and we have some good decisions, some okay decisions, and then one really dumb decision. Let's watch through it once and see what happens before we pick it apart. Oof. Yeah, okay, so that's pretty rough for that little Altima, but kudos to our camera car. If we bring it back, first notice that right off the bat, let's take a look at the position of the cars in our field of view. We're in lane 3 of what looks to be a 5-lane highway in Sacramento. There's no way to be totally sure, but it's likely that lanes 4 and 5 on the right there are pretty open. And you'll see why I say that here in just a minute. Then notice the car ahead of our camera car has already got its brake lights on. Now, as this thing gets going, you hear the driver saying, no, no, no. Now, at this moment, this is where the driver of the camera car avoids disaster. They recognized when that car ahead of them had its brakes on that something was wrong. Something wasn't normal. And so they scanned the roadway, they noticed the parked car, and they stayed in their lane. You know, if the driver just ignores those lights, then maybe they end up as part of the crash, but they see the lights and they react accordingly. If there's anything they could have done better, maybe it would have been better to move over to the right and get as far from the parked car as possible. But as you'll see here in a second, there might be a Land Rover over there. So they also might have been able to brake just a bit more. And it's obvious why they might want to do that here in just a moment. Now, we see the Ford Fusion come into the frame here on the left, and we see an okay decision that turns into maybe one of the best moments of driving in the whole clip. They're moving pretty quick, right? And it seems like they noticed the parked car a little bit later than our camera car, but by the time that we see them, they're already braking. In fact, as we watch them, that's all they do. They brake in a straight line to get a better understanding of what's coming up, and they don't make any sudden or jerky movements at all. In fact, they only come off the brake when they realize that there's a Nissan about to rear end them. See the moment here where the brake light goes out is the same time that we see the Altima coming into the frame. Now, here's the worst choice that we see made in this video. Pretty clearly, traffic is moving at a reasonable pace, right? But the Altima isn't patient at all. They're eager to get around. And as the Ford slows down, the Altima changes lanes without being completely sure of how clear the road ahead is. What's worse is that they put themselves into one of the worst possible positions at the same time. You know, if you're in a middle lane like our camera car is, usually there are a couple of directions you can go at any one time to avoid a crash. You know, but in the left lane or the right lane, like the Altima is in here, you're stuck when there's a car beside you, like the Ford, and something's in the roadway. So a couple of big takeaways here. First of all, of course, when you see traffic slowing down ahead, even if it's just one car that's braking when they really shouldn't be, it's a good idea to slow up just long enough to be absolutely sure that the roadway is clear. Second, take a look at the actions of both the camera car and the Fusion as soon as they know that they're going to avoid the parked car. They both gun it, right? That's often a forgotten detail that can save your life. As soon as you're clear of a situation like this, get away from it safely. You have no idea what's coming up behind you, and creating as much distance as possible, again safely, might be the difference between you being involved in the accident and simply knowing about it. So hopefully those tips keep you safer and help you drive with a little more passion. What do you think of this kind of content? Let me know down below, and if you haven't already watched it, check out my first video ever, a review of the ultra rare Alfa Romeo SZ, or visit my website, riverscars.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a smashing day.